Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
Oh, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace from the West Coast, and you are watching another episode of Sportsminute. And tonight, I am joined by none other than, that's right, we used to call him the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera. How you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing good. You guys call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. I'll be there.
All right. And then, of course, we're also joined tonight by good old J-Mac. How you doing tonight?
Can't complain, because even if I did, no one really cares.
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. Well, as everybody knows, on the Wednesday's edition of Sports Minute, one topic, everybody already knows one topic going into every Wednesday pretty much. And that one topic that we always cover is the top 5 quarterbacks of just a certain NFL team. Well, guess what NFL team we're going to be doing today? That is right. We're going to be doing the Houston Texans. And what's interesting about that is we gave we started talking about how it was going to be difficult for the Jacksonville Jaguars until you see this list of the Houston Texans quarterbacks, and you're like, my God, this is rough. This is brutal. You can still come up with 5. Now, you can basically go with any 5 you want, except, we pretty much know, who 1's going to be and who 2 should be. But like 3, 4, and 5, that's more the tougher part of it anyways. And But anyways, without further ado, we should kind of jump into this and see how our top 5 lists are. So with this, guess who gets the privilege to do this Houston Texans list first? It's normally J-Mac, and then last time I picked Brandon. You know what? I'm gonna change it up a little bit. And
are you going first?
I'll start this out. What the heck ever. It's because it's gonna be kind of difficult with this top 5 list. I'm just curious if you guys kind of have the same top 5 list as me. So number 5. Okay, number 5. You're going to laugh about this, and that's completely okay. You can go ahead and laugh about it. I went with Ryan. Right. I went with Ryan Fitzpatrick at number 5. And the reason why I went with Ryan Fitzpatrick at number 5, if you remember, technically the 1 year he had in Houston, he went 6-6. He was actually having a good season. He had 17 touchdowns to like 8 picks at that time. He threw for over 2,500 yards at that point. And he actually had the Texans rolling on offense. And then he broke his leg. He actually threw 6 touchdowns in a game that one season. Technically had his best statistical completion percentage season when he played for Houston statistically. I'm not saying his best season overall, but completion percentage-wise, that was his best year. And I feel like they would have made the playoffs that year had Fitzpatrick not broken his leg. Sad.
Of course you feel that way.
Hey, I'm a Fitzmagic guy. And
we gotta vote him into the Pro Bowl next year because then he can be eligible for the Hall of Fame.
All right.
You have to make one Pro Bowl in your career to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. If you don't make a Pro Bowl, you can't go to the Hall of Fame.
Really? I did not
Really?
know that. Okay.
And then, so my number four, Brian Hoyer. Okay. And the reason why I picked Brian Hoyer at number 4 is, his one season he started there, we know he started the season as number 1 starter. And then he got benched for Ryan Mallett, but then Ryan Mallett got hurt, and then Brian Hoyer came back in, and Brian Hoyer led him to the playoffs. Now, what happened when he got to the playoffs? Oh my God, it was atrocious. That was the game that they played against the Kansas City Chiefs, and Brian Hoyer threw 4 interceptions. But when you look at it, though, statistically, he had a good year, his year with the Texans, and there was really nowhere else to go. I mean, you could potentially maybe throw in a TJ Yates in there if you wanted to. I don't know. There was guys like Tom Savage out there, but that's so hard to throw them in the top 5. And then number 3, I actually went with David Carr at number 3. Now, there was a reason why I had to put him in the top 3 because, people give this guy a lot of flack. But I don't think a lot of people don't realize, like, the guy was sacked over 200 times as Houston Texan.
244 times in 5 seasons.
The guy
think about that.
The guy had no offensive line. He could not stand up. Like, he could not stay up because that offensive line was so freaking atrocious, and he was the number 1 overall pick, which I'm saying, though, if he would have had a better offensive line, who's to say that he would have struggled as bad as he did? You got to feel bad for him. Like, everyone said that David Carr was a bust. How can you call him a bust, man? The guy was constantly on his back. That wasn't his problem. There was that one year, if you remember this, J-Mac, his rookie season, he got sacked 76 times.
76. And by the way, people are like, well, yeah, but some records will never be broken. There's one right there. Because I'll tell you, do you know who second all time is, by the way, for sacks in a season?
I want to say Favre, but I don't think that's right.
David Carr with 62.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And then third, I believe, is David Carr with like 55. And then you go down. Yeah, I'm serious. He's got like the top 3. And then you go down, I believe it's Carson Wentz with like 48 would be the next one. He's got like the top 3 seasons. It's insane.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's absolutely. So David Carr basically had no chance at all. He had no shot. And then number 2, I went with Matt Schaub because his time with Houston, he wasn't like super successful, but he got him to a couple playoff appearances. He even led him to that season when they went 12-4 as a number 1 seed. Everybody thought, oh, this is the year of Houston. And if everybody remembers, that was the year that they had Arian Foster in the backfield and Andre Johnson at receiver. So they actually had a good team, but then they make it to the playoffs and they go, that's pretty much what it was. And then Houston ended up moving on for Matt Schaub. And then number 1, you know what? Even though there's a lot of stuff going on with him right now, it doesn't matter. I still have to put Deshaun Watson at number 1 because I still feel like right now he's the best quarterback that Houston has ever had. And who knows what's going to happen with him? I don't know. But right now I still have to put him at number 1. Think about last year, okay? Last year basically had nobody to throw the ball to because pretty much all of his receivers were hurt, and the dude still led the league in passing yards. Still overthrew threw over 30 touchdowns with still like 8 interceptions. The guy had nobody to throw to, and the guy was still putting up monster numbers. So
at least he had more touchdowns than lawsuits, I guess.
Right. Well, last year was brutal for Houston. So going to that was my top 5 list. I'm really curious to see exactly where your guys' top 5 lists went. So with that, you know what, Brandon, you go ahead and give me your top 5 list.
All right. So, I mean, I struggled. With it. I was thinking about making a joke list of the NFC East or Central quarterbacks that played for Houston as the top 5, but I honestly went strictly by the stats. I ain't gonna lie. I got Brock Osweiler 5th. I got Sage Roosevelt, sorry, 4th. I'm with you. I got David Carr. I just looked it up too because I knew he had the record for sacks. Cunningham's number 2, and then David Carr's 3. In the top 5 for most record in sacks, so Houston has 3 of the top 5. Watson being number 5th. I mean, they never had an offensive line,
Right?
So number 1, number 2, it was a toss up. Ace, I hear what you're saying with Watson, but I have him 2nd. I have Schaub number 1, but I could flip flop them. I mean, it was a hard list to really decipher between even the top 7 quarterbacks because after 1, 2, I mean 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were so close. So, but that's my list. Nothing too exciting. I mean, Watson's probably has the best Houston career, but give it to Schaub. I actually kind of like Schaub.
I want to give a shout out to Lisa Halverson, who's joining tonight, and say hello. How's it going? And then, of course, we have the comment by Tim Fielder that's saying, "Hey, Fitzpatrick's beard should be in the Hall of Fame."
Who's got a better one, J-Mac or Fitzpatrick? I mean, they're both
Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, man. That dude's
Fitzpatrick's been growing his a little longer.
Yeah, that dude's got a heck of a beard.
Yeah,
it's a toss-up though. I mean, J-Mac, he got pretty.
No, I don't even know. Look, I like J-Mac's beard. It's great, but Fitzpatrick definitely has the best beard.
Yeah.
It's not.
I'll give it to Fitzpatrick because I mean he's probably 4 years in now at least in that. I think I'm at about 2, so he's got me by doubled on that.
All right.
Jesus.
Oh,
yeah, I don't need. I don't want to know that, but all right, J-Mac, you go ahead and you give me your top 5 list.
I mean, it's so bad. It really is. Like 3 through 5 is just awful.
Nope.
So I guess you go 5. I got Case Keenum. I mean, he was 2-8, but whatever. I just threw his name in there. Case Keenum, given some recognition. Number 4 was Brock Osweiler. Strictly on numbers, like Brandon said. 3's David Carr, and again, everything Ace said. Like you can't blame the guy. Not only was he sacked 76 and 68 times, two different. He was sacked those many times, and he was sacked 76 times and lost 411 yards on sacks that year, and then was sacked 68 times and lost 424 yards.
Yeah.
So that's just crazy. Like, how do you expect the guy to put up numbers with those? And that year that he was sacked 68 times, he still threw for 3,500 yards. Like, explain how that's possible.
Well, they had the weapons. They just had nobody blocking.
I mean, I think that was the year Andre Johnson's rookie year, and they just get in the huddle, and he's like, "Dude, get open! I'm throwing the ball quick. Like, be ready." Yeah, and then 2 for me is probably Matt Schaub, but Matt Schaub leads all time in wins. He leads all time in wins. The guy was there forever. He threw a lot of pick sixes at the end of his career. I think 8 games in a row he threw a pick 6 or something.
He was Mr. Pick 6. He was Mr.
Yeah,
Pick
he was Mr. Pick 6 at the end of his career. So,
well, look who he sat behind forever though too. So,
and then Deshaun Watson's number 1. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to see him add on to those numbers this year. And he won't ever play for Houston again. I'm just saying that right now. He won't. He may never play for anyone ever again, honestly.
But right now, that the only reason I put him at number 1 is because of what he's done so far. And yeah, he would go down right now as the best Houston Texans quarterback ever. Yep. Until there's another quarterback that tends to step in and be like, okay, I'm going to lead you guys to the playoffs and win you a Super Bowl. If that ever happens, then Maybe, but right now, you got to go with Watson at number 1. And I know, Brandon, you kind of have it flip-flopped, but you said you could kind of go either way with it. I mean,
I actually, honestly, when this topic came up and you picked the team, I actually thought Watson had way better stats than Schaub or anybody. I thought he was leading in all the categories. So,
well, no, it's because Schaub has been there for. He was there for longer, and Schaub actually had some decent people around him. You think that when you really think about one thing that Deshaun Watson has lacked offensively with his help, and that was kind of a running game. Deshaun Watson hasn't really had a running game. When Matt Schaub was there, Matt Schaub had that running game because Matt Schaub had Arian Foster, and so with Matt Schaub having that running game, that opened up everything to help him throw to Andre Johnson. But
don't forget about Owen Daniels.
Yeah.
Owen Daniels, he was a decent tight end. He was.
There was a lot of those guys. I'm not saying he was great, but there was a lot of those guys right in that 2010, 2012, maybe 2005 to 2012 range that were not overpowering. They're not tight ends like now that are a huge part of the game. But they were consistently 40, 45 catches a season every single year. You could throw the ball to them, they'd catch it. And there was a lot of those guys in that era right there that were just solid tight ends that you could rely on.
I mean, overall, if Houston would have ever got an offensive line, I mean, these numbers are going to be way different. I mean, sack totals are going to be down. Passing number of wins are going to be up. So
when you think about these top 5 lists, just think you have 2 of the worst top 5 lists and all the NFL in the same division, because you're going to have the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's which Jacksonville comes next week.
Okay.
Well, because we've already done, we've done Tennessee, we've done Indianapolis. We just did Houston, so now next week comes to Jacksonville.
And honestly, for me, it's almost 3 because if you take Warren Moon and Steve McNair off the Titans,
you have nothing.
Name their next great quarterback. Like they don't have one. So I mean, really, you're talking about it's maybe the 3 worst in the same division.
Yeah.
Well, Carolina wasn't much better. I mean,
no, it's a horrible division for quarterbacks. It's awful.
Well, no, but I'm talking about the NFC with Carolina.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying the AFC South is awful for quarterbacks. Yeah. Your only saving grace is the Colts because you had Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, and Johnny Unitas play on the same team.
Right. So, so you actually had 3 decent players there. But, all right. So now we can actually jump into our second topic of the night, which our second topic, we're going to actually talk a little bit about some WNBA because we always have a female topic that we talk about. And this topic is actually, we're going to talk about Maya Moore. And so when we talk about Maya Moore, now this is her second consecutive season that she has come out and said she's not ready to come back and play yet. Now, we don't even know if she's going to ever really decide to come back and play. She's 31 right now. She's a 4-time WNBA champion. She's a 6-time All-Star. So when you look at this overall, if Maya Moore decided to retire today, would you put her in the WNBA Hall of Fame? And J-Mac, I'll go ahead and I'll start with you on that.
I think I would struggle with first ballot just because of the shortened career. But I think that, second, third ballot, she'll eventually get in. I don't think that's a question. I just struggle with the short career. That's all. So maybe not first ballot, but yeah, she eventually gets in.
How about you, Brandon?
Ace, I gotta give you props. Last few weeks you've been giving some love to Minnesota women's sports in general. So
right.
Yeah, I'm with J-Mac. I mean, awesome talent, short career. I mean, first ballot, maybe she went 6 for 6 in the finals. But I mean, she was in the playoffs every year of her career. She played every regular season game, probably playoffs too. 6-time All-Star, like you said, 3-time All-Star MVP, 2014 MVP, and the 4 titles. I mean, she's in. She's in second, third, fourth. Yeah, but first ballot, it's going to be tough. It all depends on who's all with her on the ballot, I guess, at that time. But she's for sure Minnesota Hall of Fame for the team and stuff. I mean, because there's only 3 people when it comes to Lynx basketball that I can even think of, right out the bat, and she's one of them. So
yeah, but Maya Moore not coming back to Minnesota. That's a huge loss. Like that.
It is. I mean, but she did it for a personal reason. I think she's trying to get a degree in law enforcement, I think, too, or something like that.
So she is trying to get a master's, but she's also in the process of doing something that I don't really want to get into because it's a little bit of the political side. So I want to stay away from that. But she's also in the midst of doing something else right now, working on something, which I respect. That's her thing. I truly like her game. I think she's very, very skilled. Within her WNBA career, she should be somewhere around averaging about 18 and 19 points per game. And it should be right around maybe 5 to 6 rebounds, I do believe, a game. But overall, when you think about it, now you guys don't have her as a first ballot, and that's fine. I can agree that maybe because of the shortened career, maybe that's why she wouldn't get in the first ballot. But she's got to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, just think, a 4-time champion, a 6-time All-Star. I mean, just ever since she's came in, she's turned that Minnesota team around. Like, she's completely helped that Minnesota team. And so with her opting out again, oh man, it hurts Minnesota in the long run. But staying on this topic for just a second, J-Mac, I'm going to go to you on this and tell me, do you think that she decides to come back, or are you going to say, you know what, she's done, because this is her second straight season that she has been like, no, I'm not coming back yet. So she's not ready to come back. She hasn't played since 2018. So what do you think? Do you think she's coming back?
Yeah, I think she will. I think she'll come back for I think as a player, and especially a player of her caliber, there's a certain I don't really know what word I'm looking for, but you announce it's your last season. So like Kobe's last season, he knew what his season was going to be like. Everybody, there's so much respect for you, standing ovations, all that stuff. Like, you want that scene. If you're a player of that caliber, you want that in your last season. So I think even if she comes back for 1 year, and it could be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, but she'll come back for 1 year, announce, this will be my last year, just to get to give the fans what they deserve in that last little bit of this is my last year, enjoy this, recognition maybe is what you're looking for. But, everyone wants that last season, especially when you're that caliber, no doubt.
And unless she's concerned about maybe for her taking a couple seasons off, that maybe she won't be as conditioned when she comes back, and maybe she won't be at the top of her game. Maybe she'll put that into consideration. I don't know. I think, though, I truly think she will come back at some point. I give it maybe I think she'll be back next year. I don't think she's going to want to take too much time off, because I don't think she's going to want to lose a lot of her game. Because right now, I don't know how much she's working out. I don't know how much she's still practicing. I don't know any of that, because I know how much stuff that she's going through. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what route she wants to go. So, Brandon, what do you think? Do you think she comes back, or do you think she's going to call it a career?
I mean, as a Minnesota fan, I hope she comes back because we typically don't get graced with this kind of talent in any sport, really, for us. As a team, I mean, they got to be talking to her weekly and see where her mindset is. I'm guessing the contract's not expired these last 2 years. I don't know how long she has left on her contract, but sooner or later, the team's going to have to force her to make a decision. She's got 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years left on her contract.
Okay.
But contracts are tricky, so she might have more than 2, and there might be an opt-out clause. Like if you opted out and you don't get any money for that year, then it goes into a 3rd year, 4th year. And we don't know any of that. We don't know the contract.
Well, but I just know when she opted out last year, she had 2 years left on her contract. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't specifically know if they were doing it the same way as the NFL, to where because last year, if somebody was signed and they opted out and they were on a 1-year deal, that year didn't count. That 1-year deal just came to this season. So
I can see last year's not counting, but I can see this year's counting. But as I was getting to, the Lynx are going to have to step up and say, hey, we need a decision on what you're going to do, what your thoughts are, because they can't be sitting around and be waiting for her to come back. I mean, yeah, she's great talent. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to lose her, but the team's got to move on somehow. So they're going to have to say, okay, if you're not going to come back in the next couple of years, then, we'll let your contract run out, and then you can be a free agent or do what you want. So,
or they might try and trade her. If she decides to sit out more, and Minnesota's like, well, we don't want to wait. She's like, but I guarantee I'll come back in a couple of years, and they might be like, well, then we're going to try and trade you because we don't want to wait.
Yeah, I mean, they got to move on. I mean, like I said, talent doesn't come around often here, but
well, right, but. Yeah, you're talking about Minnesota here, okay? But even when you talk about the NBA, it's rough. Like
all sports, really. I mean, so
all right.
We'll see. But if she does come back, it'll be probably next year for sure.
And I'm sure with you being a Minnesota fan, you're definitely wanting to see it. You're waiting.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Lynx basketball is way better than Timberwolves basketball. Even today. So. We'll see where it goes, but if I'm the Lynx, we're talking weekly, monthly. We're going to have to come to a decision sooner or later. So,
yeah, but would you be upset? Let me ask you this. Would you be upset if Minnesota finds out that Maya Moore's like, you know what, I'm going to wait a couple more years and I'll come back? Would you be upset with Minnesota if they said, you know what, we have to move on?
No.
Because with you knowing that you guys get that talent not so often, would you be upset with Minnesota if they're like, we need to move on because she?
No, they got to do what's best for them. I mean, they can't worry about what the fan base wants because, I mean, we want titles, especially for Lynx basketball. Playoffs and titles, come together almost like the Lakers and playoff runs and stuff like that. So, but they got to do what's best for them. I mean, if they came out and said, Maya Moore said, she's going to be back in 2 years, we're going to keep her, I'll be okay with that. But like J-Mac said, or Ace, I think actually you said, what kind of condition she's in, So unless they both come to an agreement, say 2 years, okay, but she's like, I don't know. Then they're going to have to step up as, okay, well, we're going to have to move on. Either we're going to try to move you or, let your contract run out. So,
right, because it was almost that same way with Brett Favre when Brett Favre was like, you know what, I'm going to retire. Oh, wait, I'm coming back. Oh, wait, I'm going to retire. But eventually Green Bay was like, you know what, we need to move on. We need to get that next man up there. And so at some point, Minnesota might have to do that. It would be sad. It would be sad for you Minnesota fans, but at some point they might have to do it.
Yep, exactly. So we'll see.
Yeah. So my final question for J-Mac on this, since Brandon, you answered this question. J-Mac, for you, do you see her sticking with Minnesota, or do you actually see Minnesota wanting to move on because of her continuing to opt out?
Minnesota. Is she gonna stay in Minnesota? Hey, about that. Just a bunch of hosers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she'll stay in Minnesota. But she probably will in the end. I think she does. I think she'll end up retiring in Minnesota. And whether that means she ever comes back or she just retires in Minnesota, that's what it'll be.
All right. So moving on to our next topic, we're going to actually talk a little bit about soccer. You know, we haven't touched on soccer for a while. And Lisa's saying, yes, eh? So yes,
yes,
yeah, she's from Canada, just so everybody knows. So it's a yes, eh? All right. So
yes, eh?
So we're gonna
bunch of hosers.
So we're gonna jump into our third topic, which is soccer, and we're gonna talk about Bob Bradley. We're gonna talk about the head coach for LAFC, and the topic on this is: do you think he's feeling that winning pressure? Do you think he's there like, okay, now I'm under pressure. We must win right now. This is the time to win. And
so, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the same Bob Bradley that ran our United States men's team into the ground?
This is the same guy.
Yeah. So does he feel the pressure? Of course he does, because he knows he's about to be out on his ass.
But
rear end, you know. Sorry, I almost did it. But
they had an interview with him though, and they asked him and said, "Are you feeling the pressure?" And Bob Bradley came out and said, "I'm not feeling the pressure because I'm taking a team and I'm working them back up. And right now we have that winning instinct." That I'm like, wait, what?
This guy's a joke. I mean, think about it. He had the greatest United States men's player of all time in Landon Donovan. And what did he do? Nothing. They didn't even make it past the second round in the World Cup with the greatest U.S. soccer player of all time. And that he was the coach of that, or the manager, whatever you want. I mean, come on, man. This guy's a joke. Why are we even talking about him? Like, he doesn't even deserve this much airtime. And LAFC's a joke of a team anyway. Like, if you watch, oh man, MLS starts here soon, and so when the Vancouver Whitecaps win the West, and then we end up in the MLS Cup, we'll be having a completely different conversation. But man, LAFC, I bet you right now, outside of the three people in this stream right now, the three people in this stream, I bet you if you took a poll of 100 people, 4 of them would not know that LAFC existed as a team.
Well, because you have to think their expansion team was in 2018, and so he's been their coach since. So he's been there since 2018.
That explains why they don't win any games.
And so that's why
they do win. I mean,
well, they do, but at some point you got to think he's feeling that pressure. And so, Brandon, you tell me, what do you think? You think Bob Bradley's starting to feel that winning pressure? Like, I have to win. You know, I've been here since 2018, and I'm finally feeling that pressure. The time is now.
Well, yeah, like J-Mac said, I mean, he took our soccer team where? Exactly. So, I mean, he does have a winning record with a soccer team in LA, but you're always feeling pressure when you're a coach, even players. You know, you're trying to win all the time, trying to make the fans happy, ownership happy. But for him personally, you failed on the national scene, I guess you could say. So yeah, you're trying to build yourself up with a team that's been in existence for 3 years. So yeah, you got to get your name back out there to be relevant again, But so yeah, he's facing a lot of pressure. Maybe not himself pressuring himself, but the soccer community, the ownership, media. So yeah, he's got a lot of pressure on him.
Well, because I don't know, like I look at this and when you talk about soccer and other sports in general, soccer seems to be one that's a little bit more lenient with coaches when you think about it, because when you look at like the NFL side right now and NBA and MLB, it's more of what have you done for me now. But soccer is more on the leniency side, but we have to give Bob Bradley a little bit of a break here since this was hold on because this was an expansion team.
Who cares? Did you not? I mean, he had the United States men's national team with Landon Donovan, and he ran it into the ground. We didn't even qualify for the World Cup next year. I get he's not the coach anymore, but the coach that he left in charge, the team that he left them with, they didn't even qualify for the World Cup. What do we need to give him a break about? It's an expansion team, and he's got a winning record. Cool. Jason Garrett has a winning record in the NFL. What does that mean?
Well, yes, because the year he went with USA, he was 10-9. Now I know we're like that was his first season. It was 10-9, so nothing with 13 ties. Okay, 13 ties. So you look at that, you're like, man, that's freaking crazy. Because think of where we were, and then that's how far we went down. Like that was freaking insane. Okay, now look at. This is the one thing I'm saying. Look at LAFC last year. Last year, when you look at LAFC, okay, their record last year, they actually had a great season last year as LAFC. Okay, last year in 34 games, they were 21-4 with 9 ties. Now you look at this year though, and they've kind of taken that step back, and now they are 9-8. So that's why people are going, is the old Bob Bradley coming back?
Did they win the MLS Cup?
No.
Then, I mean, here we are again. Like, a winning coach with a winning record. Did you win the MLS Cup? No.
Yep, that's all that matters is those titles.
I mean, it's not always all that matters. But the point is like, this guy, to redeem himself, to me, I'm sorry, but to redeem himself to me, he's going to have to win like 3 MLS Cups in a row, at least. You have to do something to prove you're not the same old Bob Bradley that you were before. You took a team to 21-4-9, and you didn't win the MLS Cup. Congratulations on your 21-win season. Like, kudos to you. Do you want a kudos bar and a cookie? Like, what?
So to tell you his biggest accomplishment so far in his career has been he's gotten Coach of the Year in 1998 and Coach of the Year in 2006.
He didn't even get Coach of the Year last year
No.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
No.
it would have been in 2019 when they were 21-4-9. But still.
Yeah.
98? That was 23 years ago?
Yeah.
I was going into 8th grade in 1998. Like, jeez, man.
I just finished high school. Jeez.
J-Mac,
I get you. I mean, like you said, it's not all about titles, but, you got a great record, but what do you got to show for it, I mean, yeah, I'm a J-Mac. I mean, he's going to have to win. At least he's going to have to go to 3 or 4 straight finals and maybe win a couple of them to be like, okay, you're not the same guy, but.
Yeah. Okay, so So he's been So he's been with LAFC for 3 seasons. So how many seasons do you actually give him there before LAFC says, you know what, we need to move on, we need to get a new coach?
Okay, that's where it gets a little tricky because it was an expansion team coming in. So, if you have some success, it's probably going to buy you a couple of years. But I think he's got 3 more. Like if you're not in the MLS Cup within the next 3 years, which gave you 6 years, and you come on off your resume, your supposed resume off of being the United States national coach. I don't know who would hire him after that, by the way, with that disaster. But they gave him a chance. But I think in 3 more years, you're not in the MLS Cup or you're not close. Why would you keep him around? He didn't do anything. He didn't make that team a contender.
All right, so Brandon, what do you think?
Well, the reason why LA hired him is because he's a name. He was
absolutely
face of the franchise to start off. Here in Minnesota, we do a lot of, like Ace said, what have you done for me now with our coaches, and they stay around forever and ever, especially in baseball and football. Basketball is a different story, but I'm a J-Mac. He's got to start showing something in the next couple of years, or year 6 or 7, he's going to be on the hot seat. You go from 21 wins down to 9. What are we looking for now? 6, 7 wins, or are we going to jump back up to 20, 25 wins? So yeah, he's going to be on the hot seat, not just pressure-wise for winning stuff, but his job.
Well, I think that's why everybody was saying, is he feeling the pressure now? Because coming back from a 21-4 season, and you start this season 9-8, I mean, at some point, everyone's like, man, you got to feel that winning pressure because it's getting there.
Yep.
It's getting there. But now jumping off of this topic, we'll jump to our next topic, which is going to be J-Mac Spotlight Player. So, J-Mac, who do you have for us today?
Well, actually, I don't have one player. I actually have a sport. I actually want to, and it's something I've really gotten into lately. I watched it on TV one day, and I was like, man, this is really entertaining, and I never thought that it would have been.
Chess boxing.
Yeah, right. that might be one of them. But so it actually started in the late 60s in the United States. It was just it was what you would call a club for colleges. They would go around and face other colleges. Just it gave them time away from their lectures, if you will. Okay. So that's actually how it started, because they were in a club. They would get to leave their lectures early and get credit for them, right? So that is actually how that started. Now, as of 2012, there's 5.1 million players in this sport, just in the United States. And that's pickup, that's professional, that's all of it. The United States actually dominates this sport. They have won 4 out of the last 5 titles, world championships, and they have won every one of them since 2017. Anything else I can do to give it away to you? It's not your prototypical sport. It's not something you would think that you would want to. It wouldn't be the first one to come to your mind if you're like, I want to pick up a sport and I want to learn how to do this. It's very, very. It takes a lot of endurance.
Boxing,
and it mixes a lot of different sports in it. There's some football rules. There's some baseball rules. There's golf rules. There'd be some hockey rules in there as well. Points are scored very, very. Points are scored differently if you don't follow it. You have to follow it pretty close to get the point system down. But there's things called a pull, a force, a poach. Nothing yet, Brandon.
Rugby, maybe.
Nope. Actually, it's got some rugby rules in it, though. There is some of that too. Actually, it's ultimate frisbee.
Oh
wow.
Yeah. And it's becoming a huge thing. Like I said, 5.1 million players now in the United States. And actually, the most exciting news for Ultimate Frisbee was that in the 2024 Olympics, the International Olympic Committee made it eligible. It will be an Olympic sport in 2024. They recognized it as an international sport. So that's pretty exciting news for something that started as a college club to get you out of some lectures, and now it's going to be an international sport here in a few years. So pretty exciting stuff there, for sure.
So what kind of you said baseball? What kind of baseball rules do they have?
That's more like their points, because you score 1 point. You score 1 point if you throw it ahead of you, and it's so you got to pull. Like I said, you got to pull a force, a match to match. You got poaching, jam or junker clam is another one of the terms in there. But the points are single points. So that's like the baseball rule part of it. Okay. It'd be like scoring a run, basically. And you can actually score. You get a point and you can get 2 points. And then, you got to watch it to understand. But at first it was kind of confusing as to what was going on. But it's a lot like soccer. It's back and forth. And then you got an end zone. You got the sideline. So that's your football rules that comes into it. It's a lot like rugby, like you're going after the one person with the disc and they can't throw it behind them. They have to throw it forward. That's the other football rule that's in there. And touching the ground is bad. Like the disc is not supposed to touch the ground. It's not called a fumble. But it's essentially the same thing. Like if it's on the ground, it's fair game, and you can pick it up and run the other way, and you can throw it forward to your. So it's a pretty fun game to watch.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. At least I'll have to check it out. It sounds kind of interesting. So, find it on YouTube the easiest. Or?
I found it on YouTube first, and then I actually found it's like I have to look up the network I watched it on, but. I got
maybe
this
Peacock. They're buying everything right now.
Yeah, right. I got this sports package that I pay for, and so it was on some like Hexagon sports network, or it was something off the wall. That I was like, this might be cool, and just turned it on for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
All right. So that was J-Max Spotlight Player, I should say Spotlight Sport, because it was Ultimate Frisbee.
I gotta say, guys, you ain't giving a shout out to your mom. I mean, she said good evening, everybody, and
he was talking. I'm just messing with you guys, right?
I'm just messing with you guys.
But I mean, it's not like she's ever done anything for us. She only gave us life.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. So with that, of course, we're gonna jump to our final thing tonight, which is Ace's mini game, which everybody knows we've been doing a lot of trivia. It's a heck of a lot of trivia. We've been
Here's
loving
a piece of trivia for you real quick. I saw a thing about the last 32 first overall picks in the NFL. Do you know the team that has the most number one picks in the last 32 years?
So we're talking 32 years. You're looking at 90. What, 90?
89.
89. Okay.
It would not shock me if it was the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns. It's
Detroit Lions have won. I thought it was Detroit too, but they have won in the last 32 years.
Ooh.
Possibly the Jets.
Cleveland Browns is close. They have 3.
I'm almost willing to go with the Jets.
I'm going. Ooh. Jets is a good one.
You can both go in with the Jets?
I'll go Bengals.
It's actually the Bengals. They have 4. The Jets have 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. The Bengals have 4 number one overall picks in the last 32 years.
Well, one was a big bust in Kajana Carter.
3, yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah.
All right, we're done with trivia. Let's go.
Right, we're done with. So last week, the week before, J-Max stepped into Brandon's world of Minnesota. Then last week, Brandon stepped into J-Max world of Green Bay, and then this week
we did the Titans last week.
Yeah, the Titans were last week. Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Jumped into somebody else's world.
All right. So,
No.
okay, hold on. So, who won last week? I can't remember who that was.
J-Mac won.
So, J-Mac. So, we've done Minnesota, Green Bay, Tennessee. That means you get the option this week. What NFL team do you want to take a chance on?
Oh boy. Give me I don't even know. Give me Arizona.
Ooh.
Arizona Cardinals trivia. All
I
right.
would have said an NFC North team.
So with that, J-Mac, then you get a chance. Then you get the choice. Okay. Well, actually, we're gonna do it like this. Since you got to chose the topic, Brandon's gonna choose whether he goes first or goes second. So which one do you want?
I'm going to be the home team today. I'm going to go second.
Second. So J-Mac, you get the first question, and the first question is: the Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as the
Something tells me I should know this.
right. This is great.
I want to say they were from Akron, but I don't really remember the nickname of the team.
I'll tell you this though, I would be shocked completely if you guys got this one. I would be completely and utterly shocked.
Well, then I'll just say like the Akron Oaks or some
All right,
bogus like that.
Brandon, you want to take a shot at this?
Oh, found it, huh? When you said it, the first thing that popped into my mind was Chicago. So I'm going to go Chicago. I'll go Chicago Cardinals. I don't think they changed their name.
No,
I know
but
it's not great.
so the Arizona Cardinals were originally founded as and their name was actually the Morgan Athletic Club.
Okay.
Yep. I knew that.
Right? All right. So, Brandon, here's your question. What year did the Cardinals join the NFL?
Ooh, I do know this.
I'll go 57. I don't know why that number is.
That is not correct. That's not correct. J-Mac, you want to take a guess?
There's two numbers in my head. I do believe it's 1921.
Oh, so close. So close. It was 1920.
Yep, that was the other one. And I because they were one of the original four, so I knew that it was right in that time. Yeah.
All right. So, J-Mac, this question comes to you. Which Cardinals running back set an NFL record with 40 points in a single game?
Ooh. 40 points in a single game. Jeez, I don't. They haven't even had that many good running backs. Header and James. I don't know.
No, and that's not the correct answer. Brandon, you want to take a shot at this?
I'm trying to think of the running backs in Arizona.
It's not as easy, is it?
No, it's not. I even forgot that James played there.
For a very short time. He played there for a very, very short time.
Oh God, who's the most recent one that I could? Oh God, I can't even think of the most recent running back.
Oh my God, I know who it is now. Cheese and rice.
I'm gonna go Emmitt Smith
because I've tried to beat it on Madden so many times.
And that is not the correct answer. So, J-Mac, what do you think? The point won't count, but what do you think it is?
Ernie Nevers.
Yes, it's Ernie Nevers.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
I only knew 1929, and I only know that because I have tried and tried to beat it on Madden, and I can't.
I can't.
I even put it on rookie, and I still can't beat the record.
So what is it? So he scored what? 8 touch? No, 40 points. Yeah, 8 touchdowns. No. How do you get the 40 points?
You say 40? It's 40 points.
40 points.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so he scored. It was what it was.
it would have been
Like 6 touchdowns and 2 extra
touchdowns,
points. I think.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So
or two point conversions is what I meant.
well, it
I got.
looks like we're going to be getting our first point of the game because I'm looking at the question. I'm like, oh, Brandon, looks like the question's going to be coming to you, and you're going to get this one. Okay? Which quarterback led the Cardinals to their first Super Bowl?
Oh, come on.
Kurt Warner.
And that is correct. So you got the first point on the board. Okay.
Those easy ones are always the hard ones.
All right. J-Mac, this one comes to you. Brandon's up 1-0 right now. Your question is, what Arizona player originated the safety blitz?
Ooh.
I think it was a little before his time, but the only name that comes to mind is Aeneas Williams.
And that is not correct. The correct answer. Oh, well, actually, I'm not going to say it yet. All
I was
right.
gonna say, don't I get? I mean,
Yes. Yes, you get a chance.
Pat Tillman. I don't know.
No, and that is not the correct answer. Is actually Larry Wilson in 1960. He originated the safety blitz. So, speaking of Larry Wilson, the next question comes to Brandon on this one. In how many consecutive games did Larry Wilson have at least one interception?
I'll go 5.
Is that right, J-Mac?
So, 12.
Ooh.
And that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is 7.
Ooh. Yeah, when you started doing those S's, I'm like, he's gonna say 6 or 7 or 16.
All right, so J-Mac, this question comes to you. How many playoff games did the Cardinals win during their 28-year stay in St. Louis?
That many. 0.
And that is correct. So there's a point on the board for J-Mac. So you have 1 for Brandon.
Because you named one player from that era.
When were they in St. Louis?
Yeah, they were in St. Louis for 28 years. I believe it was like it was like 68 through 96, something like that.
Well, yeah, because in their time they were only to the playoffs 3 times, and it was 74, 75, and 82.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So didn't they move back and forth from St. Louis to wherever and back? Or I'm thinking No, I'm thinking of a different team. Forget it.
All right, so Brandon, this question comes to you. Which player was famous for his clothesline tackles?
Oh.
And by that look, I'm thinking J-Mac might know the correct answer on this one.
Yeah, nobody's coming to mind right now. Go ahead, J-Mac.
Yes, Brandon?
No, I can't even think of a Arizona defensive back or player. So,
all right, J-Mac,
go
you
ahead,
want to take
J-Mac.
Yeah, I didn't think he played for Arizona, but the answer I'm going with is Dick Night Train Lane.
Ooh.
And that is the correct answer.
I thought he played for Detroit, so. But you said clothesline tackle, and that's what he was famous for.
Wow. Guess I didn't realize that either.
All right,
I'm learning
so
something new.
J-Mac 2, Brandon 1. So this next question is actually for J-Mac, since we started with Brandon on the last time. So the Cardinals retired jersey number 40 in honor of which player?
Oh, I know that one. I do know this one.
Brandon's like, dang it.
It's you, J-Mac. It's your question.
Yeah, it's your question.
Oh, it is my question?
Yeah.
Dang it. I was waiting for Brandon. It actually, you've already said his name, Brandon.
Already said his name.
Pat Tillman.
Yeah.
It's
So
Pat
Brandon,
Tillman.
I'm guessing you would have known this answer too.
Oh, yeah. Pat Tillman, I mean, it was rightfully deserved. And what he did to end his career to go do what he did. And, more props to him.
Because they actually offered him a 3-year contract for $3.6 million.
And he said no. So
yeah,
that is a hero right there. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So 3 for J-Mac, 1 for Brandon. All right, Brandon, this question comes to you. Who was the Cardinals' first 1,000-yard rusher?
God. Can't be him. I'm gonna go Edgerton James, but I don't think that's him.
That is not the correct answer. J-Mac?
Frank Rogers.
No, the correct answer. You ready for this? The correct answer is John David Crow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I guess we're eating crow.
All right. So this question.
I mean, I was close with Frank Rogers. I just threw a name out there.
So this question is for J-Mac. So who holds the franchise record for receiving yards in a single season?
Ooh. Because it's not the obvious answer everyone thinks it is. I do know that. I don't want to say he had like 3 names. I don't. I'm struggling on the last name. I believe it was Roy Lee something.
And that is not the correct answer. Brandon, you want to take a stab at it?
Oh, but I know who it might be. Dang it.
If it's not Larry Fitzgerald, I don't know who it is. So Larry Fitzgerald.
That's not right either.
My second choice would have been Anquan Bolden. That would have been my second.
The correct answer, and once you actually hear this name, you'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. The correct answer was actually David Boston.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Boston and Bolden both.
Yeah, that's why I was like, yep, once I say David Boston, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense.
Actually, both of them made sense. I mean, after –
All right, so this one goes to Brandon now. So, Brandon, the question is, why was the team renamed the Cardinals?
The owner hit a bird, and it was a cardinal.
All right, so J-Mac.
I do believe that it's almost the same thing as in baseball, or with the Giants as it is with the Cardinals. When they moved to St. Louis, they wanted to be the football Cardinals versus the baseball Cardinals in St. Louis.
Oh
no! So what it was that
was the best guess I had.
That was a good guess.
He bought some jerseys from the University of Chicago, and when he bought the jerseys from there, he said that the jerseys looked cardinal red. So that's where they got the Cardinals from. So J-Mac, this question comes to you. Which quarterback holds the franchise record for passing yards in a single season?
Ooh. Carson Palmer.
That is correct.
Wow. Not who I thought it was going to be.
Who would your guess have been? Would you have said Kurt Warner?
I was thinking Warner or Plummer, and then I started thinking, well, Murray this year had a pretty good year, so those would have been my top three. I would not have said. Oh, nice go, J Mac. You earned that point.
All right, so J Mac 4, Brandon 1. So, Brandon, this question comes to you: which player died during training camp in 1979?
Ooh. Not even a clue. I don't know. I'm gonna pass. I'll do the Freddie pass.
All right, J Mac, any guesses?
Roy Lee Higgins. I don't know.
No, the correct answer was J.V. Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I see the next question, I would like to thank Brandon for participating in this trivia. But looks like J Mac's going to be taking the gold home again today.
That's okay. As long as I get shut out, I don't care.
Right. So this question. All right, J Mac, you ready to win another round of trivia here? All right. Which Arizona quarterback was known as the Snake?
Oh, jeez.
Plummer.
Jay Plummer.
You could have probably got your kid to answer that question.
Exactly, right? So that's why once I looked at that, I'm like, yeah, J Mac's taking the trophy home. He's taking the gold home.
That's okay.
So, J Mac 5, Brandon 1. But Brandon didn't get shut out. So
No, J Mac, he's got a good head on his shoulders with the sports stuff, man. Jeez.
It's going to be interesting to see where he goes, where you go with it. For our next trivia, it's going to be interesting to see where you go with that. But Saturday again is going to probably be another one of those special editions. I think that we're going to do another open forum on Saturday again. So be ready for that. Can't wait for that one. So Brandon, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. You got 30 seconds to say whatever it is you want to say.
Well, all I got to say is, this is coming up to another great weekend for myself in sports. Excuse me. Outside of March Madness and baseball starting, we got WrestleMania. Not one, but 2 nights of Mania. So I can't wait. I'll be excited. I know we do a show on Sundays. I can't wait to hear the guys chat about it. So that's what I got. And thanks for everybody listening and commenting. Yeah, Liz, you're right. J Mac and Ace both have great heads on their shoulders when it comes to sports. Can't disagree.
J Mac.
In my 30 seconds, I just want to say this. I want to say that if you would have told me before the season, the Major League Baseball season started, that a guy who had 5 plate appearances for the Atlanta Braves would lead the team in home runs and RBIs 6 games into the season, it's insane. Pablo Sandoval did it again today. Sits on the bench till the 7th inning, sitting there eating muffins and cookies, and comes up to the plate and smashes the ball to center field, the deepest part of the blank. And he didn't just hit it right over the wall. It was a 426-foot home run out of center field. And again, then I see this thing after the game where they asked him in an interview about the game, and he's like, well, I just came here to smash muffins and baseballs, and I ran out of muffins.
Right. How many home runs does he got now?
He's got two home runs and 4 RBIs. He has 5 plate appearances this year, and he's got 2 homers and 4 RBIs.
Oh, Buxton better watch out then. Because Buxton's leading the Twins in home runs, I believe, or tied with Cruz. But
I'm telling you, Pablo Sandoval is going to end up being the greatest pickup in the history of the Atlanta Braves.
He should be our everyday third baseman, I tell you.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be fun to watch him just walk up there, do the stare down with the pitcher, and just hit a home run. With 2 strikes again. He's down 1-2. He swung at the one before that and looked awful. Like he was just up there swinging for the fences again, and he looked so bad. And then 2 strikes, and you're like, oh, he won't hit another one. And then the next pitch, and it's like, well, that's gone.
They don't call him the panda for nothing.
Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. Baseball's back, and I love it.
Maybe it's the Muffin Power.
Maybe.
They're going to call him the Muffin Man.
But with that, I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of Sports Minute. Tomorrow is going to be Real Talk, and then Friday we're gonna be Just Say the Truth, and then What the Puck, and then Saturday, Sports Minute again, open forum. So get ready for that. I'm excited for it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful night, and we will see you again next time for another episode of Sports Minute.